Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Comic Source Podcast. I'm your host, Jace. We are celebrating. We are celebrating spiking the football, as the Bad Idea team just said, and we're celebrating that during the 12 days of the Comic Source here. So it's great to have the Bad Idea crew here to talk about the company that was, the little engine that could. So as we kick it off here, we're going to start with Dinesh, and we'll go around counterclockwise as I'm looking at my screen. Everybody do a quick intro. And yeah, then we'll talk some Bad Ideas. So Dinesh, you want to remind everybody who you are, what you've done, and what Bad Idea meant to you?
Bad Idea meant to me? Yeah, sure. I'm Dinesh Amsani, one of the founders of Bad Idea, along with these fine gentlemen here. And what did Bad Idea mean to me? It meant a lot of things, but mostly it was fun. It was super, super fun. I had a blast.
Cool. Warren?
I am Warren Simons. I am also one of the founders of Bad Idea, along with our crew here. And Bad Idea. It's hard to sum it up in just a sentence or two, Jace. I mean, it was, the moon, the earth, the star, the sun, the sky. You know what I mean,
Your whole life.
It was everything, bro. It was me. It was the creators. It was my friends. It was the colleagues. Now that's all ending, and I'm just stuck in this room with this dream catcher behind me trying to figure out what's next, brother. You know what I'm saying?
We'll have to, we'll have to talk about that. I hear rumors, but first we'll let Adam and Josh chime in. Adam, introduce yourself. What did Bad Idea mean to you?
My name is Adam Freeman, and I am merely a grunt. Boots on the ground, if you will.
Nonsense, lies.
I just go where I'm pointed. They point at a wall.
So you can get out of this when they come for us.
And so as a result of having no real investment in this at all, for me it's just a relief that it's over, basically. I no longer have to spend as much time taking orders from these people. That's really what it comes to.
Tip of the spear, Adam. Tip of the spear. The invading point, bro. Leads with you, brother.
That's fair. No one appreciates those tiny cogs, but if you don't have that tiny cog in the middle of the machine, the whole thing breaks down, right?
That's exactly right. Thank you, Jace.
Adam is so modest. I'm just going to tell one story about Adam. Adam had this great idea, for Bad Idea, to not sell comic books to everybody and not to every store. And we were like, that's mean. And he convinced us all. Just an example of how a small cog can have an outsized impact.
Wow. So it was all Adam's fault. Okay. So if you're watching us on YouTube, everybody, when you throw stuff at the screen.
Correct.
You're welcome, Adam.
Aim for Adam. Yeah. All right, Josh, last but certainly not least.
Josh, marketing, and I've worked with these guys for a long time. I've disobeyed the first rule in interviews: never answer the question last, because everyone else gets to get all the fucking jokes off. Leave whoever's last to answer the question. I know this lesson so well. I did not jump in front of Adam like I should have. So what did Bad Idea mean to me? My answer is close to Dinesh's. A lot of fun. Can we rewrite the script and unlearn the lessons that everyone has to learn? The comics Bible, how you have to sell, how you have to market, how you have to editorial, that has made this such a very slothful, bloated industry. If we can unlearn those and try things differently, could we be successful for exactly 2 years? Maybe.
Well, I'll give you this one first then, Josh, because you so valiantly fell on your, not to be a pun there, inadvertent. But here's the thing, despite the fact that it's a crowded market, right? To be serious for a second, it's kind of hard to really stand out on the shelf. There's so many books out there and so many great books. And you guys really put yourselves on the map by doing things differently. And I know not everybody agreed with everything you did, but the point was you got noticed. I got to compliment you, first of all, for coming up with these ideas. But I also got to know, were you just sleep depriving yourself? Were you taking peyote? How the hell did you come up with these incredible marketing ideas? Because, I've been a comic fan for over 40 years, and you guys really, you threw the book out the window and just went nuts. And I, like you said, everybody said, it looked like you guys were having a lot of fun, and that came through even in the marketing.
Yeah,
awesome, man.
A team of marketers, basically. Everyone on this call has different backgrounds, sales. I have an editorial background. Warren editorial, Dinesh with film. I mean, everyone has done the thing, but essentially we are all pretty decent marketers, which you have a company of people who are leaning towards saying yes to an idea as opposed to like no to an idea, you're going to be successful. And then we had a little bit of that at Valiant, I think, like that, but I think we really mastered that here, how to lean in. If an idea sounded fun, if it sounded like it would not hurt ourselves or the brand or the consumer, we did it. And oftentimes successfully. You know, a lot of comics marketing is again, there's so many talented marketers in this industry handcuffed to the fact of, okay, we're going to have to get out a single page preview, and it's a silhouette of a character, and he's blacked out, and you don't really know who it is. Okay, then now it's character X, and here's your 5-page preview for FOC. And it's just a cycle that goes along. There's not a lot of innovation there because people are handcuffed, because people are scared. We just weren't terrified by the prospect that our ideas might be good, that we might be able to release them in the marketplace, and people would be receptive of something as dumb as clicking a button 1 billion times, or or blindly ordering these titles. We believed in the books, we believed in the marketing ideas, and as a unit, always lean towards saying yes to an idea, not no. That makes us very unique in the marketplace. And I will say that all the marketing, I know that gets a lot of attention. It can only work if the editorial, if the books themselves are so rock solid. Otherwise, it's all just noise. The noise has to have substance. Our substance is our editorial. And then beyond that, I think we are talented as a unit in marketing.
Yeah, let's talk about how great the books were, because sometimes I feel like, you got, again, and you got to make noise to get noticed, and you guys did. But I feel like sometimes that was talked about more and covered more than the actual substance of the books. These were fantastic books, and still are. We still have some stuff coming out, Odin's Eye and whatnot. So Warren, you can speak to that, being kind of in charge of editorial. I mean, this was just is just a murderer's row of talent that you had on the books. How gratifying is it to see the body of work that Bad Idea produced?
It's super gratifying. I think one of the keys to success has simply been, as Josh noted, while the whole team might come from different backgrounds and have different areas of expertise, we're all also played huge roles in casting the books, building the covers, building the stories, really working together so that what did ultimately hit the shelf was a product that we felt could stand neck and neck with the best in the industry, if not surpass it. So, just looking at this beautiful cover montage you had behind you with La Fuente and Lewis and Polina and Tomas and Renato, and, not even getting into the story side of it, it's really wonderful to see, just how beautiful all the stuff came together, the logo designs, and just, the whole team really, it really is, you remove any of us from this equation and it becomes a different kind of a thing. So it's nice to have worked with this crew for so long. I've known these guys pretty much since 2011 in one form or another. And, we love to talk to each other and yell at each other and, work with each other. And, I don't think we leave anything out in the wash. By the time it hits the field, by the time the game is over, we've left everything on the field. So I think it's really part and parcel for the team that we have here. It's really a testament to all the guys and the freelancers.
Talk about the genres also. That's one thing that we don't get to talk enough about. The fact that the industry is doing basically superhero books, and like there's not a superhero book on that wall.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh summed it up, really well with the marketing side of it, where by the same token, when we see, we have a book that we gave away, I'm looking at Passive Aggressive, and we put out a book with 2 books in one book. I mean, the ideas are just crazy here, let alone Sleigh Bells, where we're just going to tell a story about Santa Claus getting revenge on a town because a hunter accidentally shot his reindeer, or ENIAC, or Odin's Eye, which is a fantasy, or Monster Kill Squad. We just, every genre we're touching. There's, or Whalesville, which is a kid's book, or it could be a kid's book, or is, a Pixar, Miyazaki kind of a vibe. So, I think there are probably 4 or 5 different genres that we've touched at least, and we've only published, 8 or 10 or 15 series at this point. So it's wonderful to just have as much fun as we're having. It's just flexibility through everything at the wall, not worry about adhering to tried and true genres or anything like that, but just have some fun.
At this point and forever.
Yes.
I do want to push back though on something Dinesh just said. Superman. Santa is obviously a superhero. Obviously. I mean, he's got the costume. He flies. He's a do-gooder.
Is he born of guilt, Adam? What is the guilt at the core of Superman, of Santa Claus?
I really thought we were going to dig into that in our Santa Claus story. I was a little disappointed we didn't get there, but whatever. There's always a sequel. It's fine.
I like me
Well, there's
being
not always
born
a
as like the resident Jews being like, he's a menace. He's not a hero.
How dare you? How dare you say he's a hero? So you know what? So let's talk a little bit about sales. Let's talk about dealing with retailers. And I know not everybody was happy with some of the rules you guys made, but at the end of the day,
we were very happy.
Well, yes, and I spent a lot of time explaining to people, look, the idea is to get the book in as many hands as possible. That's why it's one per person. And you can the reason you can't get them digitally or you can't mail it is because we want to drive traffic to stores. You want to help retailers out, but then it seemed like retailers are the ones sometimes complaining the loudest about these rules. But here's the other part of it, right? Like you guys got pushed back because of the pandemic, and then perhaps, and I'm just speculating, the paper shortage certainly didn't help things out, especially when you're a small,
still not,
retail or publisher like you guys are. So, Adam, you often were kind of boots on the ground talking to the retailers. Overall, how do you think they received Bad Idea? Do you think if you guys were to bounce back, if maybe there's some truth to the rumors that it's not really over, are you happy with?
Whoa! Who's saying it's not really over?
We'll get to that, Laura. We'll get to that.
Okay, just checking. All right.
Yeah, I may have. I'm not saying a little birdie told me, but yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, Adam, talk a little bit about the relationship you feel like you guys have built over this last year with retailers.
I feel like it's been some of the strongest relationship of any publisher I've ever worked with, including Valiant. I think that in many ways, what we did was set up a system where we can set up the retailers that want to work with us, that have seen what we're doing and value it, and are interested in playing the game that we're interested in playing, right? What we did was we set up a system where they succeed, right? We gave them a terms that are the best in the business. We gave them more marketing than anybody else is giving them. We gave them customers. We pushed customers into their doors, and on the phone and online and basically anywhere, because Bad Idea customers are relentless. Like we gave retailers
more than anything. I mean, you gave them time. You did.
That is true also, yes. Like we I think we created a model for how publishers should work with retailers. I think there should be a little bit of buy-in because you want people who are interested in what you're doing. And I think that there should be a lot that is asked of the publisher, right? Because the retailer is investing their time and space and staff's energy and all of that. There should be some give and take. I believe we went over and above, and I know for certain that for every retailer that did go over and above for us, we became a huge part of their business. We've heard several of them say they have a big three now, like that third big publisher of theirs, because we did what we said we were going to do. Yeah.
And Jace, you and I talked about early on when you first announced the rules, asking for a little bit of buy-in from the fan, from the reader. Bringing a little bit of the collectability back. And, that's the thing, that Bad Idea and people that followed your work at Valiant and people that followed you over to Bad Idea, that they know the quality of the work. They know these creators. These creators are familiar names. They're big names in the industry.
Yeah, big names.
And so it does require a little bit of extra work. It does require maybe you've got to get out there on Wednesday to your comic shop or pre-order it, put it on your pull list or what have you. The whole sticker incentive for the final 5. I know you were at some shows recently in the last couple months here. We had some pretty big shows. We had Emerald City, we had C32, we had the San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition. Did you get a chance to talk to any fans, like in person, any Bad Idea fans? Like, how do you think overall they received it, and how sad are they that it's ending?
Yeah, no, we did actually. Adam and I were both at Chicago, and we were joking about it the last day. But you always go to these shows, and some people know you. It's a small industry. Some people know you, you get stopped. And if you've got a meeting, you got to leave an extra 15 minutes early to get there because you run into somebody or some fan or something. But Chicago was crazy. It's hard to tell the impact we've had because we're in the pandemic and we're not seeing people like we used to at shows. But we couldn't go two feet without that. Everyone was they recognized us. They wanted to talk to us. They wanted to talk about Bad Idea. We knew from I'm trying to think what I can say, the social discourse and the numbers, et cetera, that were having an impact. And from what the retailers are telling us, but we had no idea it was already so large. It was wonderful, actually.
So does that lend any credence to these rumors that I'm hearing about you guys talking to big partners, other media? Maybe it's not really over.
You were fishing. You were very fishing. People were very, I'm going to answer your previous question. Ignore that one. People were sad, certainly, but to an extent, I don't think, for whatever reason, no one believes we're going away. It's going to be hilarious come next month when the last features of Odin's Eye and Monster Kill Squad are out, and people are waiting for the solicitations and nothing comes, and then they wait the next month and nothing comes, and they're going to get very, very mad with us because I don't think they think we're serious.
Okay, that's fair. Well, let me ask Warren about another rumor I've heard.
Interview is over.
And no. Now what I've heard from some pretty reliable sources, maybe people close to you personally, Warren, that if Bad Ideas is truly over, you're going to be out on street corners with comics you've drawn yourself in crayon stapled together,
Yes.
hand selling.
Yes.
Is there any truth to that rumor?
This is true. It's mostly about a pigeon from World War II. I'm very excited about it. I've been waiting 20 years for this. The moment is now. I use one gray crayon, so it works. It's beautiful. It's a little meta. But yeah, I mean, look, it's been a good run. Look at that wallpaper. It's beautiful. Look at those covers. I'm excited. Spike the football. We went on top. Good job, boys.
Well, I'm going to have to get on the phone with Comic Tom after this chat is over and tell him about this World War II pigeon comic, because I'm sure it'll be even more valuable than the hero trade. If there's actual truth to that, it'll be a one of one.
If I can con David Lapham into drawing it, maybe.
All right, well, let's pivot back over to Josh. You talked about just any crazy idea, finding a way to make it work in terms of the marketing. Have you had a chance to hear from fans? I mean, again, some of it was like, wait, what do we have to click this button a billion times? Like, wait, what? Personally, as a fan, as a reader, I loved it. Every time you guys came up with a crazy idea, I at first I was taken aback by it and thought, what the fuck are these guys thinking? But at the end of the day, it got people talking, and I applaud you for your efforts. How do you feel the overall reception of these crazy ideas from fans has been? Think they bought in on it?
Yeah. First of all, I don't want to take sole credit for any piece of marketing. Every single marketing idea, execution of it has flown all the way through our company. Gigantic shout out to Bobby, who's a massive part of executing that and recording the numbers and sending them back up to the top. Anthony, the whole team. So there's no, just me as a conduit of marketing. How do I feel like it's been received? I felt like everything that we've done did what it was designed to do, is to make noise, that we have a larger footprint in the comics industry than the amount of comics we produce suggests that we should. We want to be loud. We want to be different. I think, listen, like earlier I said, we say yes to a lot of things. We also have to say no to a lot of things that we know would work, but would only work to the level that they could at Boom, Valiant, IDW, Top Cow, which is normal comic shit. Like, totally like, yes, this is the thing. This would sell 5 more copies of comic books. We also had to look in the mirror and say, that's not the kind of company that we want to be. We want to be a company that's bold and different. And if that at times, irks people, then how do we use that as well? And we have, Bad Ideas Over, the 3-part video series of The Haters Were Right. These things did real numbers. They got real impressions. They got circulated around our industry, and they told a narrative about what our brand was. Because we were bold enough to be like, okay, people are mad. Now let's pivot. Let's make that part of the marketing. You can't just do that anywhere. It's our internal company culture is a huge part of why we're able to do what we're able to do.
We earned it, and Josh was it. Josh was the leading figure in making sure that we earned it. He kept saying that to us: earn it and give them hope.
Well, going back to something you said, Adam, about some retailers, Bad Idea was their third, biggest publisher. It was now the big 3. You certainly earned it with them. In terms of getting retailers on board, was it just a matter of, hey, look at these creative teams, look at this kind of editorial lineup that Warren and Dinesh have put together? Did it make your job that much easier?
Everyone's involved in the editorial, man. Everyone.
Okay, everybody. Sorry.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, honestly,
Except for Bobby. Fuck Bobby. His ideas suck.
Bobby. I will say, if we're giving credit to Warren and Dinesh, I would say that what they did was kind of they gave us a part of that secret sauce where they created a place for us to come in and be able to be creative without fear of falling on your face, or the ability to, like, change the pivot when you did, right. And I think that was a huge piece of it. But also, I think for most retailers, it was about the work that everybody on this call has done before, right? That preceded us walking in the room, and that was a huge part of it, right? I would say that there was a lot of it was just giving them the narrative, right? Those 6 rules that have been highly touted. Like, if you look at those 6 rules, all of those 6 rules go back to what is a publishing company that is designed to put out 1 or 2 books that we are proud of every month, right? What does that look like? What does the company look like? Where is it located? Is it located anywhere, right? How is it sold through stores? How is it sold to the consumer? How are we communicating consumers? If we start with that premise and we build everything on top of it, I mean, these are people who've been in business for decades. They see it, and they trust the fact that we've created this sort of through line that says, how do we begin with making great books? And I would say that, like, we still have. I mean, I am reticent. I'm not going to say that. Not me, but it's a large number of stores that are waiting on a waiting list to get in, right, to become destination stores. Like. And that says a lot about what we've built. I'm really proud of that fact that the stores that are in don't leave to make room for all of the stores that are waiting in line.
Yeah, I mean, it was always a small team, right, Dinesh? But here's the thing: if there's no truth to those rumors that maybe it's not over, maybe you guys need it. I don't know, an infusion of capital. Maybe you just need to expand your team, because I know you guys have been killing yourselves. It is a small team at Bad Idea, and the pandemic, and the paper shortage. I mean, these stores on the waiting list, they're not going to have a chance unless there's any truth to those rumors. So once again, I'm gonna cast my line, fishing for any clues that
we bootstrap it. We bootstrap for sure. We would have loved more people. These stores are going to be waiting a long time. Bad news over. If what I think, Adam, you put it this way: if the comics industry needs us again someday, maybe we'll come back. But right now, I think we've done our job, right? We've shown them, as Josh says, a different way, a bad way, but a different way.
What if somebody,
which is a pity, because we've got all these. I mean, we talked about not doing superhero books. I think the best book that we put together is a book we're not going to get to publish. It's the Save Now, the kind of like the full story to Save Now. And Ramon Villalobos is showing off great art on Twitter for the last year. Not going to get to publish that one either. David Lapham's got a full book he wrote and drew. Megalith. I mean, it is. There are some unfortunate components of Bad Idea being over, but them's the breaks, right? It is what it is, as Fred Pierce would say.
With your Rolodex, Warren, I got to imagine, and seeing the quality, and as a creator, and I talked to Joshua Dysart about this. He loved the fact that the book was the size that the book needed to be to tell the story that needed to be told. As a creator, removing those limits and really, I mean, you guys used to always say, best idea wins, story first over at Valiant, but you took that to the next level here. If you need 28 pages, okay, you're going to get 28 pages. You must have had creators that were looking forward to possibly doing Bad Idea work in the future, right?
They're going to be heartbroken. I'm going to have a lot of incoming calls coming in. My book's not getting published. What are you talking about? You said this was going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's going to be, my cell phone's going to blow up a little bit. I may just forward them right over to Adam or Josh. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how I'm going to handle this yet. Just spitballing out loud, just thinking it through. But
move them to the pigeon book. How do you feel about a pigeon, Dysart?
The pigeon book. I think I'm going to pitch on third to Josh already once upon a time. But
pigeon universe that's going to happen soon. It's just going to be all pigeons.
It's the pigeon
bird shared universe.
Bird shared universe. Taking a slight piece out of Week 3 and just going from there, bro. Just take a tiny little chunk off and go from there. But no, I think listening to the guys talk, it's very nice to hear, because I think sometimes people don't understand that we spent a long time at Valiant trying to push that boulder up a hill, and a lot of the things that we have imparted here were because of the years and years and years that we spent there, learning many lessons. But most importantly, I think, we put a huge emphasis on the books and the talent and trying to make sure that we're building the best stories possible. And we also put a huge emphasis on our retail partners and trying to work with them to make sure that they're, we're servicing all of their needs as well. And the marketing, so it's a good combination, I think, of the whole team working in tandem. And these are three of the hardest working people in comics. I mean, Adam.
Who did you cut out? Jace?
What? Adam, I can't speak for Jace's schedule. I'm sure he probably outdoes all of us, bro. You know what I'm saying? But three of us, along with Anthony and Carl, I mean, we work very, very hard all the time. So hopefully it shows up in the product itself. But
I agree with you. Not Bobby. Fuck Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's fucking done, man. Once the shit's over, I'm never talking to that kid again. Okay? Just fucking enough.
Well, that's basically why we had to go, was to it was the only way to get rid of Bobby.
Get rid of Bobby. So you get relaunch, rebrand, start as another company. And if you, can I just humbly suggest, if you do decide to do the Pigeon Universe, instead of Bad Idea, can you rebrand as Guano? I think that's a beautiful name for a publishing company.
That's not bad.
Guano, yeah.
That's an evil burn, Jace. It's mean. I don't co-sign on that.
I will not die with any sense of peace if I don't see this Pigeon book come to life at some point.
I have at least two of our creators right now ready to go, poised to jump. But it's done, bro. It's done. You know what I'm saying? We almost got there.
Almost.
We got a pigeon to ENIAC. We got a pigeon to ENIAC. That was Matt. A little shout out, little representing, letting people know that they're not just filthy routes with wings. I appreciate that, Matt Kint. I love you, brother. I love you. Job well done.
Okay, the life cycle of a comic company is it goes like this. You go and you make your comics, you sell them, and once you're about to publish a more shitty pigeon story, cut it out. So last time, it was like on the way to the printer, and then bam, DMG comes in. No, we're not publishing the story.
We got it, dude. So we got it. Secret weapons. That was Eric, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Every time.
Birds, Nikki love birds.
Wherever we all go next, if Warren is the kiss of death, if Warren goes to like IDW or something like that, or Garcourt next, whatever, like the minute you see the solicitation for the pigeon story, that company, cash out.
Done.
Good to know. You heard it here first, everybody. Well, let's talk a little bit about the individual books. Warren mentioned ENIAC. That was your launch book, kind of this crazy sci-fi story. And what I loved about it was what Matt did in taking real world events and weaving them into the story and making it work. And I thought that was
love it.
Amazing.
Fantastic background by Adam there. Yes.
Adam stepping up when the bell was rung and Adam answered, dude.
Stepping up for sure. So I'll ask you, Josh, with ENIAC being your launch book and being such high quality and incredible art by Doug Braithwaite, did that really set you guys off on like a good starting point? Did you guys feel, with the launch that was incredible, all the buzz, like you guys must have been stoked when ENIAC dropped?
I'll pass this question off because ENIAC was already well underway when I was privileged enough to join the company. I'll let you know that it was one of the first things I saw, and it was a reason to sign on board. It's an exciting enough concept. Some of the comic, the elevator pitch for it was unbelievable. I believe Dinesh might have even been in like London or Germany when he called me up and like, this is what it is. And guess what? That second bomb was not on purpose. Like, it was incredible. So I'll let Dinesh and Warren talk to, what is ENIAC, what did it mean for the company? Mm-hmm. I will say what it meant for me is it was exciting enough for me to sign on board to get back into comics.
You should talk about the Hero Trade. That really was our launch. You were there for all of that.
That's true.
Yeah, that thing sells for what, like $5,000 now?
Crazy.
The Hero Trade, again, it's just, can you say yes? Do you have bosses that will allow you guys to even have these conversations? What if we take a very valuable piece of IP, a story that we all love, a comic book that we all agree we think is singularly great and our fans will connect to, and basically put it under a different imprint and button up comics, attach it to a 3-month-long, a summer-long campaign in a search for a billion clicks that we do not know for sure that we're ever going to get to put it in a secret drop where people will misplace it or accidentally throw it away. Do we believe that our marketing and our messaging, that we've earned the right to have that much fun, that by doing all these crazy shit, it'll have a bigger impact than just being like, okay, it's Wednesday, the hero trade is out, like let's go get it. It'll have 15 minutes of discourse on Twitter, and then it's on to the next new comic book day. It's the incredible amount of confidence that we have in our ideas, and that we will execute them to provide these incredible stories. The best position in the industry is unparalleled among our peers and our colleagues.
Yeah, my shop threw it away. Yep, 100% went.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, those poor guys.
We had to be okay with that, right? We had to be okay. That was a possibility. A story that we loved could get thrown away by a shop. That shop could be mad. The consumers of that shop would be mad. But that we would make the hero trade, this 8-page story, a thing that we're talking about. How long ago was the hero trade published? We're talking about right here as the start of our company. The catalyst to make it successful in 2 years was a decision we made all that long ago, by knowing we're going to take some lumps on this one, but so different, and no one else would have the courage to do this. We did it, and it's successful. And I believe that's a good segue for you guys to talk more about the hero trade, but also ENIAC, because I don't know that ENIAC does what ENIAC does without us being successful with the hero trade prior to it.
Yeah, I mean, it totally works. The shop's one of the co-owners, she's like, we get stuff like that constantly, and I don't have room for it all, so we went in the trash.
For credit, it was designed exactly that way. We've all been doing this for so long that we knew how to build a package to be ignored.
Yep.
So yeah, and I will tell you that as somebody who has been doing this for a long time, I think that there's also, I talked earlier about the culture that these guys have built, and intentionally so. I can tell you, I mean, I don't speak for Josh, but for me, to have a place where you go, hey, we could do this crazy thing where we shove it in and then nobody really notices, or what does that magic trick really look like? And then to have, them come to us and say, hey, what if we did that? What if we did ship out a book that we had to, go through the expense of, getting all the creative done, getting it printed, getting it shipped out, but we're not gonna make any money off of this thing. There's a part of it is when you're a kid and your parents are like, what do you think? I mean, family vacation to Disneyland? What do you think? And you're like, sure, you're never going to go for that. But yeah.
I think one just really important thing that Adam said there is that what also makes us totally different, everyone in the company, total students of the entire game. Everyone, all of our competitors, all of our colleagues would look at the fact this: retailers get shit in the mail all the time. They throw it all away. So we should stop sending things, stop sending leaflets, a preview thing, et cetera, like that. We look at that as an opportunity. Okay, so they throw everything away. How do we build a program that they'll regret doing so? And that will have a through line through our entire publishing line, because the hero trade, the real lesson is don't ignore anything. You might throw away a $500 comic book, but because Adam, because Dinesh, because Warren know that here's part of publishing, a part that no one talks about, the retailers, the amount of mailing they take in, we saw only opportunity there. And I think to be in Bad Idea and to do what we do, you have to have a complete understanding of retailers, their core business, their challenges, the editorial process, its business, its challenges, how marketing works, how social works. I mean, everyone here is not a student of their individual responsibilities in the company. They're a student of the comics game in general.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys all love comics. And, last time I had Warren and Dinesh on talking about the fact you guys did what you did, wanted to keep it small, a couple of books a month, because you could keep the quality up. But mostly it was about being passionate about creating comics with people that you consider friends, and that it's going to be the highest quality work because you're all having a great time doing it.
Yeah, and it's wonderful to have Matt Kint and David Lapham build a really, really, really good story for us. Just one of the things that, I remember talking with Dinesh about this as it was leaving house, and I'm like, man, I think this might be one of the best things we've ever done. This is a really good story, even just the nuts and bolts of the story itself. To have someone else writing for David Lapham, which is very rare. David almost always writes for himself, but to have him on board to illustrate something to have Matt just nail that script. I mean, the opening of that script is just, I love how Matt opened it. And then David, the real beauty of, he really put everything into that story, the backgrounds. Whenever you look at a Latin comic, you always see that he's sort of a master because he's been trained by the best that ever lived. So every panel has all these little details in the background. He always fleshes out the environment. He's never hacking it out. So we have this beautiful little package. Then we decide to just, as Josh noted, send it out to the stores, and the guys were cool with it. They were on board with it. So it was fun. It's nice to see, certainly.
Right. You know what people would love to do with this amazing comic book? Throw it in the trash. That was the bad idea way.
Yeah, 100%. But again, it's not so surprising because you guys wanted to do something different and stand out in a different way. And, it led to, your unique way of marketing led to you guys getting credit. And you and I talked about this last time when you were on, Dinesh, you and Warren getting credit for doing something that would nearly be impossible, which you talked about the retailers assuming that you guys were creating false scarcity for ENIAC #1. And it was all about the fact you were holding a bunch back, waiting until, I don't know, some artificial level of price level of ENIAC #1s to hit. And then you were going to, I don't know, sell them on eBay. Like, you've got time for that?
Yeah, we got the whole team got a lot of credit and a lot of blame, which has been the kind of duality of bad idea. And frankly, we enjoy it because we've been in it so long, right? We've got nothing to prove, right? We made Valiant a very successful company. It's hard to make an independent publisher a very successful company. It's even hard to do it with Valiant, right? That's almost the impossible task. So we feel like we've checked that box, and now it's just about what can we do that's different. And we don't mind having people tell us that they think we're crazy, that we're coming back when we're not, or that we're going to sell a bunch of books when we don't have them. We've always kept our word to the retailer and to the fans. And so we're doing that here, and we know people will not believe us, and we're making them sorry that they didn't believe us to begin with.
Yeah, again, it's sad to see it end because, ENIAC was fantastic and totally a complete story for Matt Kent. And the second release, Tankers, was something so wildly different from Robert Venditti than anything he's done before. He came on the show and talked about that. And who wants to talk about the viral video for Tankers that Rob got to do? Because that was absolutely fantastic.
Josh, you worked closest on that.
Oh yeah, but again, it's credit to everyone. So someone has to improve it. We usually operate off of zero marketing dollars. That's like you have to have that big footprint without spending any money. But something now and then an opportunity presents itself. Like, okay, maybe this is worth this cost. And the gigantic shout out to Brockton.
Yeah,
who's incredibly close with all of us. As a true member of our company, a true friend of the company. He does those videos that you see. I mean, ranging from the button to Tankers, the haters were right, everything with The Rock, bad ideas over, all of these things. Brockton has been such a voice in making and giving our branding the largest audience possible, which is through video. So just gigantic, acknowledgement of his incredible efforts there, but also acknowledgement of Rob Venditti. Robert Venditti is a brilliant marketer. And this guy, again, somebody who I'm very close to them. I know we all are. We all love him because not just like us, a student of the game. Robert was at Top Shelf, packing boxes in a warehouse, talking to retailers, hand delivering, hand selling. He is at the master class of the entire comic book industry. So he knows how to market and sell a comic book as well as anybody does. And he found this place, I believe in North Carolina, and that would let you go and fire these turrets and work this tank. It's like that. And he was like, I think this guy's a comic book fan. I think we can go in there. And I was like, all right, let's get a script together. Let's talk with Brockton, and let's make it this happen. So they go out and film the thing, and it's a masterpiece. I'd say like Spider-Man No Way Home, and then this, my favorite things that come out of comics. But 100% credit goes to Robert Venditti because he is a brilliant writer, but he's also a student of the game, and he's a very talented marketing and sales guy. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Adam, would you not hire Rob for any sales staff? You could?
Oh, hell yeah. We try occasionally, but he keeps insisting that he says he has some sort of career writing. I'm not real sure about it. I think he's really missing his calling. Yeah.
100%. You heard it, Rob. You got a backup gig if you need it. Well, for me personally, all the books are great, but if I had to pick one, and granted, Odin's Eye is not over yet, so maybe I'll change, but Whalesville for me is the book that just stands out. And part of the reason for that is because the very first time I waited, even though I got my button, I waited and didn't read it for the first time until I got a chance to read it with my daughter, who was 9 years old at the time.
Oh, wow.
Because I wanted to experience it for the first time with her, and she loved it. And we went around quoting lines from it for a good week or two. You got a roof for your roof, and it was fantastic. But I want to ask you, Warren, you check something off your bucket list in this book. It's Whalesville and Rocks and Minerals. Tony Millionaire. Talk about that experience.
Well, I've loved Tony since the late '90s when he was doing a weekly strip for the New York Free Press or New York Press. I forget the name of it, and it was Mackey's. And I used to read this every week, and this is before I worked in comics, and I'd bring it home, and I just absolutely loved it. It was just the funniest thing, just like black comedy, super dark humor, lots of jokes about alcoholism and piracy and things along those lines. And I've always wanted to work with Tony, and the opportunity never really presented itself. When Matt wrote Whalesville and we were casting it, we really loved the story, all of us. We'd all discussed it. It was all about, we really thought there could be sort of it felt like a little bit of a Pixar story, like a little bit of a Miyazaki story. Like there was just a broader kind of theme that worked for both parents and for kids. Beautiful themes about life and life lessons and things along those lines. So we knew with Whalesville, we were able to get Adam. We felt that was really special. And Matt also had the story about Rocks and Minerals, which is very irreverent, a lot of fun about, we always have these post-apocalyptic stories about, it's Mad Max and one after the other about life after the fall or something. And here we have little rocks and minerals that are sort of animated and trying to save an animal. And we knew that we needed to have someone who had a real beautiful artistic style to do it, but also would impart his personality or her personality into the work. And I think we found that with Tony, and he really just knocked it out of the park, drew a beautiful little story. And it was strange. I've purchased a couple of them. I've given out a couple as gifts. I really loved, I love what he did here. And I felt like it was a really nice kind of package. And I think it's very bad idea that we take two of these stories that I think could kind of survive on their own or be interesting on their own, throw it into an oversized thing, make it an all ages thing, have something that we could read to our sons and daughters, things along those lines. So I really love this one as well. This was one of my favorite early releases that we did.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Then when we get to Sleigh Bells, Adam, and certainly the time of year where we should be talking about Sleigh Bells, you want to talk about irreverent, and for whatever reason, and maybe it's the obvious, it's Santa with guns and deer hunting and whatever. Such a Rambo vibe, specifically the classic First Blood, which I wouldn't necessarily associate with Santa, but you yourself said he's a superhero. Maybe in this case, he's the Punisher.
Ooh, good call. Right, exactly. Maybe he's just that post office employee who has finally had it. Whatever odometer that's in his head that he can just only take so much went one past its expiration date. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're onto something. I think Santa, this has been coming for a long time for Santa. I'm really shocked that we're only just now hearing this story.
Yeah,
Santa Rambo is actually, we should do what's the second one called? Rambo 2? Where we should bring him out of retirement and send him to the South Pole to retrieve some elves. But the thing goes wrong. We should do that.
Yeah, he hit, it's like Adam said, that counter in his head, he delivered his 9 billionth toy, and that was just it.
Can't do it anymore, man.
I had a roommate who was a postman, and he just said, the mail keeps fucking coming, bro.
Yeah, it never ends.
It doesn't stop, dude.
It never ends. And the last book of the first 5, as we'll call them, The Lot, which Marguerite Bennett, fantastically talented, so goddamn creepy, had an aspect of the film industry, old Hollywood, this old movie lot, and that's where the name comes from, the lot. Now, you yourself went to film school, Dinesh, and you have a little bit of a experience with Hollywood. Did it make the story resonate even more for you?
They all resonate. That for me, what was fun about this one is the idea of a haunted lot is something that I at the time I was spending a lot of time talking to people about, because we were making a movie at Sony, and they have a haunted office, and I would head over there and talk to the employees who were convinced it was haunted and just would nonchalant would talk about ghosts and things that they would see there, which is the weirdest thing. And so it was super fun. But just the high concept is wonderful. This director is obsessed with authenticity, which you hear about that. They market around that, and he went too far in this ritual, and they've shut it away, and they've hidden it from the public, which again is something you associate with Hollywood. And now the corporate interests are coming in, and they've unwittingly released something. It's a really, really cool twist on a haunted house story, with the kind of thematic and conventions of a Hollywood story. It's a really, really smart script from Marguerite. And then Renato's art is, like nothing else on the stands. And that was awesome. It's not what he usually does. Warren, I don't know, Warren, were you working with him on that style, or did you see something he did?
Yeah. He had just finished up a project at DC, and he was working a little bit on a creator-owned book that was completely different than anything he'd drawn before, or even what he drew for us at Valiant. He did a couple of Bloodshot stories for us, I think, and some other work. But he just showed me these pages, and they were just some of the most beautiful things that I'd seen. I was like, wow, these are just absolutely stunning, dude. You should be, working in this style. And we were talking back and forth, and we had the lot, and asked him if he thought it would be interesting for him. And, he gravitated for it. It was one of those nice moments of serendipity when a couple of things come together. And we had the wonderful scripts from Marguerite. They're really interesting scripts. Maybe we'll publish them one day, but you see that she has almost encyclopedic knowledge of horror. It's really impressive. She'll cite like 4 or 5 films to describe the staging of a panel or a scene, and she might do that 3 or 4 times per script, and you're just like, wow, you're in the hands of someone who has like a real comprehensive understanding of the different fields of horror and different schools of horror. And then we discussed it with the team. We felt like it was a real good fit.
But to echo Warren, she put so much work into this. The scripts they're massive. They have notes on covers and marketing and color. Hilariously, lots of color notes for a book that ultimately ended up being black and white. The art was so beautiful.
Well, I think Warren had told me previously that you guys originally thought about doing it color, but then when you saw the Renato's work come in, you're like, no, you need to see these lines. You need to see this rendering.
Same with the Hero Trade. I think we have at least colored sample pages in the Hero Trade, don't we, Warren?
Yeah, I think we've done that quite a bit this year with the Hank Howard stuff as well. Shout out to Rob. I think Rob just sent me an 8-page story. He's like, look, I wrote this. I don't know if you could use this. It's just a 8-page story about a pizza detective. We're like, all right, let's give it a read. And just absolutely brilliant work by Rob. Just, I didn't know he had that comedic bone. Just absolutely wonderful stuff. And he's done 2 or 3 of them. They've been some of my favorite things he's ever written. I'll text him quotes from it. You know what I mean? Just different random quotes at random times, and we just laugh about it. So we published a lot of black and white stuff, and I think with Renato's work, we have a lot of really talented pencilers, and it's really sometimes a challenge to you look at the pencils and they're absolutely beautiful, and then you get color samples and they don't meet what you're hoping that they'll meet. We have brilliant colorists as well, don't get me wrong, but I like that we've taken a chance and we've said, you know what, we don't need to publish this in color. If we felt like it was right in black and white, we published it in black and white. And I'm beginning to see a little more of that now, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to just brag on Dinesh and Warren for a second there, can you tell by everything everyone just said how much we love the artwork for this book, how much we love how this book looks, and we totally believed in it, right? The train's passing by. This book was not previewed. We made a marketing decision to borrow from from Alfred Hitchcock to what he used to do, like the first ever premiere of Psycho, where instead of previewing Psycho and showing clips from the movie, which could never match up to the audience expectation of horror, he walked the set of Psycho and he said, and this is the room where something terrible will happen. And he teased a shower scene. And that we had to take the book that we thought was one of the most beautiful things any of us had ever worked on. And we were like, you know what? we think we can get a bigger response by not previewing this. Every other book shows about like 65% of the book with that book's on stands. If you go through and look through all the sites and you go to Previews Mag, et cetera, like that, we showed nothing from the lot because we believed in it when it hit stands. I have to give you a tremendous amount of credit to Dinesh Warren. These are the kind of things we're talking about when we say that things that no one else did. No one else takes the book they think is the most beautiful book they worked on and withholds it from its own audience until on sale because they're afraid, and we weren't.
Well, here's another thing that nobody else has ever done, and I don't know, in a way I hope nobody ever does again. You decide to put out a book, passive aggressive, and unbeknownst to fans and readers, depending on what state you're in, you get a different version of the book. And if you're a completist or you want to read the other ending or what have you, you gotta go online, you gotta turn in your sticker, you gotta, here we go again, Dinesh, with the making us jump through the hoops. But logistically, man, how big of a challenge was that?
Huge. We tried to do that several times at Valiant. Actually, this is how big it was. We had the original Book of Death #1 was the exact same idea, with the fast forward sequences being completely different. Rob Venditti actually wrote 2 versions of it. It was too much work in terms of the timing. But Matt was the one that brought it back up again. He really wanted to do it, and he'd written 2 versions of this. It was so fun. It was so fun to watch fans early in the morning talk about the book, jumping online and talk about the book, and be like, no, that didn't happen. What are you talking about? This happened instead. Like, what are you talking about? Send pictures to each other, and we're watching this whole thread happen. It's awesome.
I will say that my favorite part about Bad Idea is 2 things. One, that we let everyone know. You just didn't notice it, right? All of the emails, if you read all the emails and you pick through them, you go back and reread them, we let you know this was happening. We told retailers to order twice as many copies as they normally would. I will say that like everything that we do, up to including this interview, there are things hidden that you want, unless you're picking through it, you won't see it, right? And I think that that's really the beauty of what we've done with Bad Idea, is that we just basically said all of it is the story, all of it is the narrative. I think that's really fun. And I will tell you, like, just from a logistical standpoint, it was one of the hardest things we've ever done. And I'm shocked that it worked, because right up to the end, I wasn't certain it would.
Yeah, I mean, I give you guys a lot of credit, because again, it was like, okay, the first 5 books are out, and they've had their Bad Idea day, and maybe the talk is starting to die down. It was the perfect time for you guys to get on the map again by doing something crazy.
We try and time it. We wanted to kick off the next final 5 with something special, but Adam's right. I actually had forgotten. Now that you're saying it, Adam, I'm remembering how difficult it was timing the book so that both halves arrived all over the world at the same time, so that stores wouldn't know. We couldn't do a UPC the same way we normally do. We couldn't do a solicitation the way we normally do. We couldn't do the information that we sent to them. None of it. Everything had to be brand new.
Yeah, I mean, Adam divided the country in half, lined up the fulfillment for it, and made sure that it hit each store exactly at the same time. I mean, him and Anthony.
That's right. 2 fulfillment houses. We had to find a separate fulfillment for half of the book.
Be tasked by any means. Very impressive.
Wow, fantastic. Well, then we get to a couple of the next books. So Pirate Queen and Monster Kill Squad both have this. I know the word cinematic gets tossed around a lot with comics these days, but they really do have this feel where they would translate so well to another medium. Not to cast my line at you guys again, trying to reel in any clues, but
if we had Jace, just to save you the time, if we had a bunch of film and TV stuff, like if there was stuff that was really far along with actors and directors and producers and studios, etc., we would never tell you.
I'm just saying.
And we have great relationships with the press that we wouldn't let it leak either.
But I'm just saying, with your background in film and television and production and these awesome property, I mean, to me, these 2 are the ones that would translate, and I think really speak to audiences. I mean, you can speak to that, right? I mean, would you not, if given the opportunity, love to see Pirate Queen and Monster Kill Squad on the big screen?
What do we think, guys?
If the company wasn't ending, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be great? It's a shame. It really is a shame.
I wouldn't be able to fit that into my schedule as it is now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh has got a full dance card.
Yeah.
Well, if Bad Idea is ending, I mean, what are you busy doing? Going to basketball games?
Warren's actually coaching basketball. It's funny you should say that.
I am coaching my son's basketball team. We're 2-1. Very proud of that. Props to the Comets. Go Comets. But yeah.
Also, he's got the pigeon book. He's busy with that.
Pigeon book, basketball. Yeah, hopefully the pandemic will end soon. I'll get back into the card room, start to run it a little bit, playing poker. You know what I mean? It's full card. Life is brief. We had a good run, boys. Touchdown. Nice job, fellas. Good work.
Well, there's two other books that we haven't talking about specifically, so we probably should touch on those. So the Refuse and Last Resort one shot. Now here is a book that's got a writer on one of the stories that seems like he's custom made for Bad Idea, that being Mark Russell. This guy is brilliant. Satire, humor, like as soon as you, Dinesh, as soon as you and Warren conceived of Bad Idea, he must have been somebody you thought right away would fit into the aesthetic of the irreverence of the company. So
everyone in the company conceived the Bad Idea. Again, it really comes out of all of our shit experience at Valley.
So tell us about Mark Russell coming on board, Warren. What's that story?
Let me give props quickly to Adam Polina and Tamara Pamvelan and Peter Milligan, who did put together, we kind of glazed over that a little bit, one of my favorite books that we've done, which is Pirate Queen. Really one of the prettiest books that we've done. One of the wonderful,
what an ending.
One of the wonderful things. Tell them about the ending, Dinesh. You want to spoil it, bro?
I don't know, Jace. You do a no spoiler thing, right? That ending I just love that ending so much.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to spoil, well, I'll put a spoiler warning. But I mean, let
it hit.
I'm anxiously awaiting the. Yeah,
it hasn't even come out, right?
No,
has it come out?
No.
Oh no,
no, we definitely can't do it. Definitely can't do it.
It's the paper crisis.
Here's what I'll give you. You will believe in a swashbuckling toddler.
What does that mean? What is that? It is strange one.
Well, let me just simple yes or no, Warren. Does the ending at all have a guest appearance by a certain pigeon?
No, it doesn't. But it probably would have made the book better.
It would have.
Dude, look at you, Warren. You're like the Andrew Garfield of Bad Idea. No pigeons. I don't know. Do we trust you? I don't know.
But the Pirate Queen, yeah, it's one of my favorites. Peter's been doing some amazing work for us. He's another one who's going to be super quick for me because he's got a couple of other things coming that are not going to come, which are awesome. And Monster Kill Squad by Christos. It's been wonderful. And Tomas. I mean, those are two of our favorites. Agree with you there, Jace. Love those two books. And Mark, I met Mark at, we went down to Comics Pro in was that a Comics Pro? It was. Was it Portland, guys? We were there.
Yeah, Portland, Comics Pro.
Yeah. We talked with him for a little bit about working on something. Mark's obviously an absolutely brilliant writer. He's done a ton of stuff, really like very challenging stuff, like to take over that Hanna-Barbera stuff for DC and really run it incredibly well, and then do crossovers with the DC characters, and not just to have them be like disposable, like we have 6 months we have a month in our publishing line. What about the Hanna-Barbera characters? And then just have it come and disappear and go, which anybody else that might have happened with. Mark really owned the space, owned these characters, and made them almost can't miss books. And Venditti had introduced me to him years ago. He wrote a book about God, or a handbook for God. I'm blanking on the name of it a little bit, but it was a top shelf book, I believe. So he's someone that we've been watching, that I've been watching for a while. We all love his stuff. And we pitched him on this idea for Last Resorts. And he came back with the idea of what would happen if the teleportation systems in Star Trek were owned by a hyper-capitalist. And that's basically the gist of the story. And then Polina drew it, and it's absolutely wonderful with art by Ulysses Ariel. It's really one of my favorite things that we've done, with a beautiful story by Marguerite Savage, one of the most talented artists in the industry. Marguerite hasn't really done a long-form project like this where you have like 40, 45 pages of her art in almost a silent story that Matt Kent wrote. So along with like Whalesville and Roxy Minerals, and we're putting out these big oversized books that are really strange, that are really wonderful, that are really poignant. I feel like the stories are. So again, that's a testament to the whole team and just our creative vision for the company and doing things that we want to do, which aren't necessarily something that would fit into a Fortune 500 company or a Fortune 100 company, but just having fun with comics.
Yeah, I think, we talked about the diversity of the line, and they're not really, other than perhaps Santa, to Adam's point, not really having superheroes. The diversity of the line certainly speaks to what is possible in sequential storytelling and in comics specifically. But certainly when you look at the one-shots, they are so wildly different in tone and feel, from Whalesville to Sleigh Bells to, Refuse and Last Resort. Like there's something special, and it proves that you can tell great stories, and it makes me question why Bad Idea is ending. This is all, it's not really ending, is it, Dinesh? This is all just
tired, man. We're old now.
Okay, I would buy. That I would buy.
Right, tired. We ran its course. We don't want to overstay our welcome. We want to get out and talk.
Well, you're
How
going
much
out.
gray is in that beard of his, man? That's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, well,
This one's from Bad Idea, right there. That's the Bad Idea one.
he still had a full head of hair when I met him. That was not
Yes.
so.
Thanks for reminding me.
Doesn't seem so. Hey, you were just catching up to me, man.
But we didn't just publish those books, right? I mean, we had all those books, of course, and then there's Odin's side, but there's also all the B-sides. And those things are just as much work to build from the ground up, even though they're 8 pages. In fact, in some ways they're harder because you've got to compress everything. And we did, 50 of those.
Yep.
It's a lot of work. On top of building an entirely new distribution system, on top of building an entirely new tone, on top of Adam being the Jerry Maguire of retail and giving personal attention to every single store.
Who's to say that you haven't missed anything, by the way? I think you're going book by book here, and I appreciate your understanding of everything that you think that we've done. But what if we're ending, but you guys still haven't totally caught on yet?
Giving away a lot there, Josh.
I'm posing the question.
It's a possibility, I suppose, or it's a possibility that Odin's Eye will be so good and so masterful and such a big hit from Dysart, who hasn't had a book on stands in years, that you'll be forced, like a band coming back to do an encore, to come back, rebrand as Guano, starting with the Pigeon story, and give us another round of fantastic books.
I don't think I threw out the name Pigeon anywhere while we were kicking around ideas for the company name, because I knew the guys wouldn't go for it. You know what I'm saying? We had a couple of animals, but I don't think we went for I didn't try to die on that hill, Jace. You know what I mean?
You circled it though. You were poking at it. You circled it.
Circled it like
Trash
a
Panda
in the sky. Trash Panda. We did have Trash Panda. That was a close one. We almost got to Trash Panda.
Pigeon Press is kind of nice. It's got a nice little indie press there. Pigeon Press.
It does, right?
I think it's taken. I'm not 100% sure. Right?
Like a nice woodcut pigeon for the logo. You know what I'm talking about? I think we nail this.
I think you use the image that's behind you. You want to talk about blowing up the industry?
Right?
Who makes these little helmets? That's what I'm looking at the thing like, what's the factory during World War II that was like, okay, guys, we're doing the war effort. We got to make little helmets for these pigeons.
You know what it looks like? It looks like you remember those little rubber things you had when you were a kid where you like pushed on it and then you set it down on the ground.
It does.
That's what it looks like.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But you wouldn't want that to pop on the pigeon's heads while it's flying, because it would probably knock the pigeon out, and then you got friendly fire from pigeons going off behind your own lines, etc.
And all the way down the rabbit hole in this one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, let's talk about one more thing before I let you guys go. It is definitely the holiday season, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to join me for 12 days of the Comic Source. So tell me about a Christmas tradition or something that you just love about the holiday season. Could be, just to for you personally, when you were growing up with your family you have now. We'll start with you, Josh. We don't want you to have to go last.
And end with me, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Holiday tradition. I'm Jewish. We're not the biggest holiday family. I look forward to usually an increased amount of time to catch up on comics and movies. We don't have that much of it, or we would not if we were ending. But it's always the time to get in more, view everything I might have missed throughout the year, catch up on comics, go make sure that my pull lists are all cleared, everything like that. I enjoy the downtime to engaged in the pop culture, and also everyone's kind of available to talk about it. The discourse that we have in this, how many text chains, guys, do we have going on? We see and read everything, talk about everything, and let that influence our work on every level. I enjoy that time of the year for this reason. There's going to be a lot of conversation about all the cool stuff that we saw this year, some of the stuff that we missed, what people need to catch up on, and they fuel our creativity. I always come back feeling really refreshed in January, only because I can consume so much media in December.
Fantastic. What about you, Adam?
You know what? Every year we all get together and we talk to Jace, and we give him at least 14 different lies, but we also put in a germ of truth that he did not realize until months later on. And he goes, oh, and it's my favorite. Like that Easter surprise where he finally puts it together. My favorite. That's awesome.
All right, good answer. Warren?
I'll go with the just seeing family. Being able to have the opportunity to cool out for a couple of days here and there, a week here and there, just recharge. Publishing is still a very labor-intensive industry. The way that they did it 100 years ago is probably not all that dissimilar from how they do it now. So I know it's probably taxing for everyone, especially at a super small company like us. So just having a couple of days to recharge, catch up with the family, read some comics, watch some movies, things like that. I think that's probably the best part. And to say thank you to all the creators who came with us this year on this journey, which is wonderful, dude, certainly.
Fantastic. And speaking of holiday movies, so this year for the first time, I'm going to share with my daughter the first and best Christmas movie for the first time ever.
Die Hard?
Die Hard, yeah.
Yes, amazing. That's a great Christmas tradition.
Yep. Cannot wait to watch that with her. Just waiting.
How old is she?
She's 10. So
does she know who Bruce Willis is?
I'm sure she'll recognize him. She's seen enough movies. Just waiting for Jaden to be in town also, so we can have the whole family under one roof and check it out. Yeah. So we'll finish it up with you, Dinesh. Holiday tradition and any other announcements that you might want to make?
Do we have announcements?
I don't know. Do you? Announcing the battle.
That would mean we have stuff going, right?
Yeah. Just saying.
In terms of like a pseudo announcement, but there's certainly things that we have done that people have not yet picked up on, which will be fun over the next couple of years for people to be like, wait a minute, this thing, did you know? And then there'll be a whole swath of stuff that they'll discover. Chris tradition, I agree with Josh. Watching a lot of shit and filling up that crave tank is great. Agree with Warren. Seeing family, Adam, lying to you, Jace, is fun. For me, I do a weird thing that everyone seems to hate that's around me, and I love eating Christmas pudding, and you can only get it this time of year. And so actually this weekend I went and I bought 7 different types of Christmas puddings.
Wow.
So I'm going to get very fat and eat my Christmas puddings.
That's the best answer.
By pudding, is this like the British, like just overarching desserts thing?
No, it's like the fruit cake thing, and sometimes they put brandy inside. It's like really hard and
got it. Yeah. Well, I'm with you.
It's
cranberries.
It's cobbler for people like us, Adam. So it's
what is it? Cobbler?
Cobbler for people like us.
These things say pudding on the packaging. I bought them in America, and they say pudding on the packaging. You guys, I thought this is an American thing. No?
Is it like pudding?
Yeah, in America, pudding's like that kind of gelatinous, amorphous. Often has bananas in it.
It's like you scoop it up, and it's yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm like Googling it right now, and it's pretty American. Pretty American. Here, how do I change my background? Choose virtual background.
Yes, there you go. You're gonna show us the puddings.
I'm gonna show you the pudding. Yeah. Add an image. Oh, here we go. Add an image. You guys ready for this?
Yeah,
I don't think you're ready. Okay. This is not a.
That's a lava cake. That's a lava cake.
Lava cake.
This is a Christmas pudding.
Yes. That's in England, in the UK, that would be referred to as pudding. But
if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. Yes, they were talking about that, but here that is a cake.
Christmas pudding Wikipedia. Let's see what they say here.
You're more than welcome to call it pudding. I knew what you meant.
We would have gotten
it has its origins in medieval America. That's what it says. Don't look it up.
take your word for it.
That's
Yet
my
one-
favorite. My
yet
favorite
one-
part of history is medieval America.
Love middle.
It's
Yeah.
completely unrelated. Does
Castle.
anyone know how to edit Wikipedia? How do you edit Wikipedia?
You have to be a approved user to edit.
Merlin on an F-150, like going through Nebraska. I love it.
That's a great beat. We should do that as a B-side.
I love
Medieval
it.
America.
You should.
Medieval
Well,
America.
that would mean you'd have to bring Bad Idea back or Pigeon Press.
We still got a couple books left.
That's true.
That's true.
Got to move fast.
Slide it in.
Yep. All right. Pull out the old B-side. Commission an artist. Get it written. Yeah.
We'll do line number 2 on sale tomorrow. There you go. Segue.
When does this come out?
It would be today in terms of when this is coming out. So this is coming out on Wednesday, December 22nd. If you're listening to us, everybody, we're recording this
Nice,
on the
perfect.
21st.
Go to the store, get Odin's Eye number 2. It's awesome.
Yes.
It is awesome.
If you've pre-ordered it.
Right.
Yes. If you
Or
pre-order.
you can-
Again, going back to that paper shortage, which, yeah, we're all struggling with.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you guys will appreciate this because nobody in my household did, but my sister sent me a text message the other day. My niece had gotten her picture in the paper for something that she'd done.
Oh,
But
nice.
my sister sends me the picture and she says, Ivy made the paper. Ivy made the paper. I said, oh, she made the paper. That's fantastic. Like that is such a long, arduous process. Is it like instead of a lemonade stand, it's going to be a paper stand because of the paper shortage, you can make all this money? And I did not get one laugh from anybody. They thought it was a terrible, and I thought it was brilliant.
This crowd doesn't know anything about humor. I'll tell you right now. This is I'm throwing out winners all day long, and these guys.
You actually revealed what is next for Bad Ideas. We recognize that it's time for us to really embrace our true destiny of underground paper black market like sales. That's what our plan is. Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out it's much more profitable to sell the paper before you put anything fucking on it. If we had known that, we wouldn't have done too. Like, I don't want to put Warren out of a job, but it turns out the paper is valuable.
We bought a few tree mills. We're pivoting. It's called the pivot. This is the Bad Idea pivot.
Hey, man.
Okay. I could see that. Trees, birds, the whole, nature thing. Okay.
Dude, circle of life, baby. That's us.
Pigeons live in the trees.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time you guys went looking to recycle stuff because I seem to remember a certain Quantum and Woody issue where you went and found foil that was 20 years old.
We should have found old paper. That's what we should have done. What a missed opportunity.
Have you ever seen the video of us the first time actually going there and getting that foil?
Yep.
I have more footage. I'll send it to you sometime. It was me, Fred, Dinesh, and Montreal for the first time, and it was the most inspiring day of my entire life. It was like the Wonka factory for like 90s nerd shit. It was really wild.
Yeah, I think you could find the video on, I want to say on YouTube.
I saw it recently. And sent Dinesh a resentment that they didn't invite me to go along. Like still to this day, so irritated that you get invited on that trip.
But there was only so much poutine to go around, Adam.
Yeah, there's another country where you can get pudding. That's really cake.
This is such haters. By the way, I called Lewis Warren and he sent this in. Medieval America. Here we go.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
He's fast. I don't know if you know that about him, Jace.
Very
Lewis is very fast.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard he's fast when he wants to be and slow when he wants to be.
Yeah, he did all of this last night. Framed it too.
Send them in framed. It's amazing.
Let's like over a 5-minute break between dinner and dessert. All right, guys. It was fantastic catching up. Again, congratulations. I think Bad Idea, these books, even though this is all the content we get from Bad Idea, it will be a moment in time that goes down as high quality. Can't wait for the end of Odin's Eye. Can't wait for the end of Pirate Queen, Monster Kill Squad. And yeah, no matter what happens, I mean, in all seriousness, if there's no truth to the rumors, nothing else is going to happen. I think you can all be very proud of what you've created.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Especially, and thanks for all the support. It sucks that this video is only going to be seen by the people that pre-ordered it because the bandwidth is limited, bandwidth crisis.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they'll make
so-
it.
Yeah.
But
so-
I mean, if you're seeing this, obviously you have a sticker, and I think that now is the time to look underneath the sticker. You did remove the sticker from the paper, right? You did see what's printed underneath it.
He never stops, does he?
Never stop.
Fantastic. Well, to you few listeners and YouTube subscribers who got to see this, I thank you for your support. Tell all your friends that they should have subscribed on YouTube as well, or on their favorite podcast platform or app, and then they could possibly see this again if I ever re-release it. So in all seriousness, everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Hope it's a joyous time for you and your family. We appreciate the support throughout the year and from all the previous years, and we will talk to you next time.
I